Hey, welcome to the Monday morning stand up for independent consultants. I'm Melissa Lieberman, and today I want to focus on our Monday morning stand up. So, really quickly, if you haven't been to one of these stand ups before, the goal here is to help you just take a few moments on a Monday morning and think about your consulting business and what your plans are for working on your business this week versus just working in your business as you're delivering for clients. I don't want to say just because they're equally as important, but I find so many time independent consultants are focused on client delivery and they neglect being the business owner and wearing their business owner hat. And so that's why I created this Monday morning stand up for you. And today we're going to focus on deal killers. Those 5 things that will really kind of kill your business development process before it even starts. I want to make sure that you're spending, if you're spending time on business development, that you make the most out of it. If you're not spending time on it, I'll share with you a tool that here in a minute that you can use to carve out half an hour a day and start getting into an effective routine. But as you're implementing that effective routine, whether it's the one I share with you, here I'll just give it to you now. Whether it's the one I share with you or whether it is one you already have in place, doesn't matter. If you've got one already in place that's working for you, I want to make sure that you are avoiding these 5 mistakes. Because if you're spending the time on business development, which means talking to potential clients and eventually leading them to sign a contract with you, then this is going to be a really important video to help you troubleshoot. So let's go ahead and troubleshoot. And I'm going to share with you those 5 mistakes that I see so many independent or solo consultants making when they think about business development. When they think about having and I'll just define business development in a very simplistic way, which is having conversations with ideal clients, ideal potential clients, or someone who might refer you or recommend you, or who has an audience of your ideal prospective clients. It's just as simple as that. Having those conversations that could then lead to potential opportunities. So now that we know what we're all on the same page about what we're talking about, I want to share with you those 5 mistakes and then what to do if you're making them. All right. So the first is, and these are in no particular order, but the first is thinking that I don't have time to have conversations, one-on-one conversations with my ideal clients. Like, I really need to know. This is so incredibly common for consultants to think, I just really need to know that this is going to lead somewhere. Otherwise, it's not worth my time. This is completely backwards. You don't know where something's going to lead. And quite frankly, if you go into conversations expecting it to lead somewhere, you come across in a much more aggressive, entitled, awkward way than if you just make a point to have a routine that creates the conversations and not expecting them to go anywhere, what individually, rather expecting at a high level that your process of talking to ideal potential clients, talking to ideal potential referrers, talking to other people who have already accumulated your kind of ideal consulting clients, that will lead somewhere kind of in the aggregate, right? So you're not putting that focus on just that one conversation. So if you're thinking like this isn't going to go anywhere, this is a waste of my time, or this isn't scalable, then I invite you to look at this, take a step back, because that's just killing your whole process, right? That's a very easy way. Let me just give you an example as a diet, right? If I'm thinking, well, if I it's just a waste of my time to eat healthy food, I'll just eat these nachos. Like, that adds up over time, right? And the same thing happens with you if you're thinking that like these conversations that I need to be having with potential prospects, aren't going to go anywhere, then then you're not going to do it, right? You're not going to dive in and start having those conversations. It's a killer before you even start the process. So if that's you, where you're thinking, I don't have time to talk to these people literally 30 minutes, 20 minutes a day. I don't have time, or this isn't going to lead anywhere, or another flavor it is, this isn't scalable, then you're basically just failing ahead of time. So really watch yourself. If you're thinking that about your business development process, then that's the first mistake that you're going to want to fix. And the easiest fix that I just shared with you is looking at it in the aggregate. It might not just be this conversation. And I can't tell you how many times this has happened for me. I have one conversation, and then like 6 months later, it leads to like 3 referrals, or I have this one conversation that leads to an introduction that then leads to, leads to a potential ideal client. So it's really looking at it, the aggregate, that is the fix to that mistake. All right. The second mistake is thinking, I don't know what to say. I don't know, even if I got a potential prospect on a call, I literally don't know what to say. I'm really, this isn't kind of my wheelhouse, right? That is also a killer, because you fail ahead of time. You don't even get started. You don't even get started and having the conversations, and recognizing the fix to this mistake is recognizing that you might be bad. You might be really bad to start with, but the more conversations you have, the more you build up this skill. And I'll just share with you, I made you a what I call the first call game plan. I got to work on these visuals here, but you see the point. You can go download this first call game plan, and it will walk you through exactly what to do to manage your first call with a prospect. Could just be a networking call, what to say, what not to say. But you've got to get yourself in the game. You've got to have the conversations and know that you might be bad, and you're not like ruining your chances if you are bad. So that is the second mistake that you want to avoid from a business development perspective, and how to avoid it. All right. The third is thinking that they can't, some form of they can't help me, or they won't help me. So you might be thinking about getting on a call with a potential consulting prospect, or with a potential referrer, or with a potential, someone who's already got your audience, like, for example, a software company who services your ideal client type. You might be thinking about getting on that call and already deciding that they can't or won't help you. Not because they're, mean, but because you're thinking like that they're not going to want to hear what you have to say, or they don't know what to do if you did say it nice, in a great way. And so that is the third mistake, is really thinking like they're just not going, it's a waste. It's another version of it's a waste of time, right? And so the tools that I'll share with you to get over that is, again, similar to what I shared with you on the first one, thinking of it in the aggregate. They might not help you. You should be thinking about, how can you help them? Shifting it, right? Shifting it into, how can I add value to them today? How can I really dive into what their challenges are and get a really good understanding of where they might be getting stuck with what they're doing, or how they're managing their team. And maybe what I have to offer as a consultant is the answer to that, or maybe it isn't. Let me just go find out, and coming at it from curiosity versus coming at it with, I better get something out of this. So that's the method to overcome that mistake. And you can also leverage that first call game plan that I just shared with you, as a structure for managing that call as well. So the fourth mistake is thinking like, I don't want to bother them. That's such a common thought too, that I hear from other independent consultants. I don't want to bother this potential person. They're really busy. I don't want to bother a potential referrer. I don't want to bother a potential, someone who's already accumulated my audience, right? Like a software vendor, for example, who already talks to all the CTOs that you want to be talking to. I don't want to bother them. That's a killer, right? You don't even get started. You fail ahead of time when you start thinking about it that way. And so the way to overcome this is again switching it and not thinking about what can I get from them, but rather thinking about it like I'm very curious about what they have to say and how I might help them. Either through my services or potentially through some other recommendation or resource or tool or introduction that I could make. And so it's making it not about you and shifting it to making it about them. How can I ask yourself this really high quality question? How can I make this 20 minutes that they have given to me valuable to them, meaningful to them? So that is the method to overcome that fourth mistake. And then the fifth mistake is thinking that you're bad at business development. Think in some form of that. I'm bad at marketing. I'm bad at selling. I'm bad at business development. I'm bad at, getting new clients. I'm really, I'm good at, although we all have our self doubts, right? But generally speaking, you're probably thinking I'm really good at consulting. I'm good at delivering clients, but you've got some form of a story, a conclusion for yourself that you're bad at landing new clients, at marketing and selling your services. And that those types of thoughts are not true. It's not like you have a tattoo on your arm that you're either good or bad at something. It's that you just haven't built up that muscle yet, potentially. And so you can do one of two things to overcome this mistake. You can either agree with yourself and say, you know what, I am bad. It's just another take on one of the fixes I shared with you a minute ago. You can either agree, yeah, I am bad, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to get better. And just because I, might have a conversation that wasn't ideal, it doesn't mean that I've somehow ruined my entire reputation. I'm going to keep having conversations in a repeatable way in order to get better at it, in order to figure out what do my ideal clients care about? What do they want to talk about? What could I offer them that's really valuable to in exchange for their 20 minutes? And thinking about it that way. The other thing that you can do when you could argue with yourself, right? That you are that and I guarantee you're not giving yourself enough credit for how good you are at business development. So you could either agree with yourself and keep going forward, or you could figure out where it is that you are good at business development and focus more on that and strengthening, using that as your foundation to strengthen against. Because what I know is consultants like you have so many skills of figuring out what a client's challenges are and offering solutions to them that either they haven't thought of or that they have discounted or discarded, and that that's the best solution for them, and selling that to them. You have, for as an example, you have those core skills that you use every day in your consulting business, in your consulting delivery. And so it's a matter of figuring out what those are and transferring them upstream into your business development process as well. So that is what I have for you today in the Monday morning independent consultants stand up. I would love to invite you to go download those two tools that I just shared with you. The standard operating procedure to fill your consulting pipeline in 26 minutes a day, and also the game plan so you know exactly what the steps are to manage that first call with a consulting prospect to get them to move forward to additional conversations. So those are the two tools that I have with you, as well as the ones I shared with you verbally. And to make it really easy, you can go to the IC toolkit if that's easier for you. So all of it is there as well. I'll just put that up. Here we go, the IC toolkit. So a lot of resources for you today, but the bottom line is go figure out, if you don't have a pipeline that will support your revenue and profit goals, then use these tools that I shared with you today to troubleshoot and go make it happen. All right. Have a great week. And if you need anything, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I am here to answer your questions. We'll be happy to. Take care.